Utility Commission meeting on July 10th, 2024 at 5 p.m. We have a quorum and the agenda was properly posted, correct?
Yes.
Okay, number 3, public appearances. Do we have anybody that'd like to speak? Okay, please come up and turn on your mic and. Oh, yeah, you can go ahead. You want to be at the podium here?
Well, yeah,
All right.
fine.
Thank you very much.
Does anybody else want to look at what I'm going to be talking about?
Yeah, I would like to. I think we'd all like them.
I didn't know how many were going to be here. Can you two share?
Yes, she.
And can you? Yes, we can. Let me get my notes here. Hi, I'm Mary Love Patton. I live at 726 Cresthaven Drive, Cottage Grove, Wisconsin. I've lived here in the village for 30 years, except for the last 3 years. I moved to San Antonio so I could be with my granddaughter during her high school career. So when I got back, San Antonio, Texas is in water restrictions. They've been in a severe drought for 5 years. And so they really put a lot of information on their bill so you, as a consumer, know what's happening with the water in that area. And when I got here to Wisconsin, I got my water bill and I went, wow, I don't really know what's going on with my water usage here based on this bill. Now, I know that printing and ink and all of that is going to be expensive, but I am asking if there can be some of these features that are on the San Antonio water system bill be put onto our village bill. Specifically, what I really would like is on the second page of the San Antonio bill. It's a current bill calculator. I would love to see that on our bill because it breaks down all the charges, tells you what the rates are. You can figure out what you're being charged rather than just have it all lumped in as it is on the village bill here. Also, the other thing that I found really helpful is on the front page. When you look, they keep track of your water use in gallons, and you can see where you are the whole year long. And I don't know if that can be incorporated. I do know that with this bill that we just most recently received, you do have on there the usage in gallons, which, a person could save their bills for the year and compare as you go. So that would help. But what I found is that this was all really helpful in conserving water as a consumer of water when I was living in Texas. Does anybody have any questions?
Well, you're getting our new monthly bill, right?
I just received this one, and it does have the meter readings on it, which the previous bill did as well, but it also talks about days. You've got days between reads, which was 28, and the gallons that we used, which was 26. But you don't have any breakdown as to the actual rates that were being charged. If you look at the current bill calculator on page 2 of the San Antonio bill, you'll see that it is all broken down.
Well, I know we broke out the fact that how much the Madison Sewer District charges and your monthly water connection fee. And I would ask Cameron to see, since we just did this 2 months ago, it used to be 3 months at a time, and there was very little information. And so we worked hard to get more information to the individuals, and then also do it monthly rather than trying to figure out what 3 months was. So again, I will turn this to Cameron if you have any ideas or.
Yeah, and I'm actually gonna either recommend we move my feedback and update on community portal, and I'll kind of throw billing together, or I could address this during that point in the agenda, and then I can provide a little bit more detail, and then if the commission would like, I can interact with the public public participant here.
Yeah, I'm very much want you to
Perfect.
fill her in as much as possible, and then also us, so.
Do we have a motion to move,
Yeah, I'll make the motion to move, item
6A?
6A, to right now.
Second.
Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? No one abstaining. Okay, number 6 it is. Here we go.
Thank you for coming. So we did have some interaction with this individual. Kristen had some correspondence back and forth. And I just want to, thank you for providing feedback. We can't continue to make things better, make processes improved without that feedback. So a couple comments on the kind of a bill in general. We always are doing kind of a cost benefit analysis. So what I could propose here in the future is we can certainly see what it would cost to either do a 2-page bill or a back-to-back page bill, and then this commission can make those decisions.
Cameron? There's a lot of white space at the bottom. Do we need 2 pages?
Depending. So, depending on what is in that space, some customers have a bigger bill. So it has to, all the fields that have calculated areas have to remain kind of as white space. But again, we might be able to provide a little bit of additional information here on the bottom. The one great part about the new portal, just in general, is there's at least access to a lot of this information. So kind of as I'm looking at this, and since we've just recently switched from quarterly to monthly, you're not going to have a monthly breakdown of usage until we kind of go another year. But you would see what 4th quarter usage was from last year, 3rd quarter usage, along with monthly usage starting in April, May, and June. I'm not entirely sure if I can get that data to extract to an actual bill. I think it's worthwhile question to see if we can get that on the face of the bill. All usage, we are required by PSC to define, what our billing period dates are and what are the billing metrics. So in this case, as it was mentioned, that meter detail of the 2,600 gallons in hundreds on the bill is a PSC requirement. So we always have to have the usage on there. We do have the actual rate. So if those of you who remember the postcards, there was the billing rates on the back of the postcard. Again, when we were doing the analysis of including that on the back face of the bill, even adding a second side was rather costly. But again, it's something that, we're always going to play this cost benefit analysis. Do we feel like it's a value to our consumers? We do have the rates and available here at Village Hall, as well as available on the community portal website. Certainly more than happy to, if someone does not have access to a computer, to either print off or send, at a resident's request, at a minimum. The one chart that I know is going to be a challenge just based off of our software, the specific breakdown on page 2, it would be very challenging in our existing system to have it actually say on each line that pricing, just with the given space that we have. But I'm not going to say it's impossible. So we can certainly take a look to see what data is actually in our system for that billing. Just trying to make sure I'm looking at this, everything. Did I hopefully answer or
I think
touch
you
on
did.
each of your questions? Okay, I just wanted to make sure.
Right, no, you did. I was just waiting for you to sum up, or maybe I should sum up.
Yeah, if and I know we kind of, before I finish, is there anything else that you wanted to either add or provide as feedback for?
No, I think the village has been really responsive. Chris came out to our home with one of the other workmen, and everyone was pretty responsive. So
Great.
I just thought it would be helpful. Water is a big issue. We just found out that there's a plant, a water resource in Prairie du Chien, Wisconsin, that is sending water to Minneapolis. So I just think we have to safeguard our water here in Wisconsin, as evidenced by the fact that people in Texas are going to look for ways to get water one way or another. We're going to have major water wars, as they already are having in Arizona and California over the Colorado River. And we need to protect our resources here in Wisconsin, because the refugees, water refugees, will be coming here. I am a retired nurse practitioner. I was working with asthma, allergy, and immunology, and I had 2 patients specifically who moved here to Wisconsin. They wanted to work at the University of Wisconsin. One was from Australia, and he said that's going to be uninhabitable, and another one, I can't directly recall, I think he came from Arizona. They came here and wanted to settle down because we have water resources that they're not going to have here. So whatever we can do to encourage consumers to actually pay attention to their bills, actually implement water flow conservation. We just ordered, what was that, Blake? What was it that we just ordered from, was it through Alliant?
Yes.
Their package for the shower, handheld shower, and, oh, they sent
Yeah,
a
it was
number of
water
things.
Conservation package that they offered. You said check it out on the
And it was it's a very good
With
shower.
quality things that they sent with clear instructions, and I was really impressed. I didn't know what to expect, but we were really impressed with what they did. Would it be relevant to bring up food?
I have already talked to the village 2 years ago about whether or not we could have flume, so.
I would hope that you would take advantage of the portal.
I'm having some problems logging on to it, so I don't know if it's user
I hear
error.
you on that one 100%.
Yeah.
So, but we appreciate your time, and again, we'll put this as an agenda item down the road.
Okay.
Once Cameron gets a chance to put some study into it, and we'll make sure that you're notified when that happens.
All right.
So you can attend the meeting.
Sounds good.
I do want to make one comment. This board has recognized conservative efforts in our current rate structure. We switched most recently from a rate structure that the more water you use, as you use more water, it gets discounted, because that's kind of the way Wisconsin has historically ran. Kind of, you break down the first 1,000 gallons as X, the next 4,000 gallons as Y.
Yes.
The current rate structure reflects the opposite of that, where we start at a cheaper rate, and the more water you use is actually, that's where you're gonna see the most yards. So
Right.
I just wanted to put, because we were talking about conservancy, that in there.
Right.
I do have a couple other feedback items on the portal that I got from other residents. And one, I really appreciate, the community getting back to us, providing guidance, providing recommendations on how they feel the system would be more effectively used. This is a very new product for the village. Kristen has done a wonderful job. Sarah has done a wonderful job. Every village staff that is involved has done a great job helping residents with the system, with the portal, getting access to it. The provider just recently made an improvement that a resident doesn't even need to sign up for auto pay, or if they don't have a computer, we can schedule it for them in the system. What we typically see is maybe that resident still wants to get a mailed bill, but as long as it's paid and taken care of, that's put some relief on them. I would encourage residents to continue to come in if they're struggling with access. For us, we believe that all of the kind of bugs that were out there that we were dealing with in the beginning are all kind of worked through. So if anybody's still struggling with actually access to the site, we're available here at Village Hall. Certainly available by appointment after hours, with some exceptions. There was a request to maybe see, there was one feedback that we maybe push the system out sooner than it was ready. To that, and I've had conversations with this individual. We did kind of study this and had about a 6 to 8 month implementation window. Obviously, when you implement a product, it's never going to be perfect, but we believe the 58.5% utilization rate, which is above the 45 utilization rate of PSN, speaks volume to the accessibility and the fact that we're only 3 months into the system and it has a higher utilization rate of compared to the old system. So we're very happy about that. But again, we do take the feedback very serious, so I will continue to bring this feedback to this board or commission and make sure that we are addressing those in a timely manner. So just wanted to provide an update tonight. And thanks again for coming in.
Thank you for listening to me.
Okay, so we'll move on to number 4, discuss and consider the minutes of the Utility Commission meeting on June 10th, 2024. Any comments or questions on that? Okay, then can we have a motion to approve that, please? And a second, please? Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? And no one abstaining. Again, thank you for your awesome minutes. And now we're going to go to 5, discuss and consider approval of the vouchers. I'm going to make a motion to approve the vouchers as in the packet.
I'll second.
Is that the way you want it, Cameron? So any other discussion on that? We had a second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? And no one abstaining. And 6, you're good, Cameron, with that? We don't need to reopen or anything? Okay. Then we'll go down to new business, discuss and consider submission of the comment to the CARPC on the proposed amendment of the Dane County Water Quality Plan. I did not realize what a nice letter I write.
Well, it's still in draft form, Charlie. You haven't officially written it yet. Hopefully I can be convincing. It can get pretty complex and nuanced or detailed here, but ultimately we're a customer of the Madison Met Sewage District. They have to meet certain requirements of the effluent they discharge. They discharge their treated wastewater in 2 locations. One of those is the Badfish Creek out near Verona. That one is going to require significant, costly treatment to meet the requirements of that effluent in the coming years. The district worked since, I think, to 2021, the sewage district, to find a solution to meet their requirements on the water they're discharging, and ultimately they came to the conclusion that shutting that one off is the best solution. So they worked with DNR, and there was a number of studies, and they turned it off for a few months during low flow periods and studied the creek, and all of that information was available on the Madison Met website. I attended the meeting of their commission, I think it was a year ago, where they officially approved that plan moving forward. For this body, I was hoping to, because now a year later, another step they have to go in the approval is through the Capital Area Regional Planning Commission, CARPC, which an argument could be made. CARPC doesn't really have the authority on this particular request, but it is a step in the process. It's another argument we can make offline if anybody wants to have a discussion about it. But ultimately, for our village ratepayers, this means that Madison Met won't have to do a multi-million-dollar project to treat the water. They'll just shut it off, and it will go through and discharge through just one effluent stream. So that's the long and short of it, but I'm open to any questions that I can attempt to answer on specific details. But as far as this commission and our charge here in the village is taking care of our ratepayers, if Madison Met can meet their requirements and it's already been approved by the DNR, I feel like we should encourage them to not take on unnecessary large capital projects, because we all know what those rates do annually without this particular project in the works. So, and their staff worked hard to come to this
They're
solution.
comfortable with just one discharge?
Hmm?
Instead of having the two, they're comfortable with just one?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
And they've studied them, and you can make an argument and people will tomorrow night at Carpsey, particularly, I'm guessing a few landowners in Verona and probably some elected officials in Verona, and I understand their argument completely. But it meets the regulatory requirements for the sewage district, and if it saves our ratepayers from having to foot our portion of a bill of a massive project,
No, great. I hope-
that's why you wrote such a good letter, Charlie.
Hope it works. Yeah, I read it, I was kind of like, wow.
So I was hoping to submit, I submitted a letter to the commission, without even telling anybody, just JJ, in my role as whatever my title was at the time, and then former Director of Public Works, and I submitted it to the sewage district when they were considering this solution, because I wasn't sure if their commission was, I don't know which way they were gonna go, but I wanted to submit a comment. I think for Carpsey, it would hold a little more weight if it came from this whole utility commission, but I'm fine just changing that and making it myself and sending it
So
later too,
did
but-
you guys all get a chance to look at it? So everybody's comfortable with that? Okay, so I am thrilled to sign it or whatever I have to do.
Fantastic. It is discuss and consider, and
I'll make a motion to approve the letter as shown, and if any edits need to be made prior to its submission, I would allow staff to complete those edits, as long as Charlie signed it when it's done.
Okay, that sounds great. Second? Any more discussion? Okay, so all those in favor say aye?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? And no one abstaining. Thank you, JJ.
thank you.
Anything else?
If you can hang out afterwards and sign it, I'll submit it tonight.
Okay, excellent. So then moving on to number 8, Director's Report.
We got a new director.
Yes.
Hi, everyone. Kyla Specht. Pleasure to be here. Super excited. I don't specifically have anything for the director's report. I was going to let JJ do that if he had anything.
We've been throwing a lot at Kyla in these first 3 days. Utility specific? No, not really anything to report at this time.
Because Kyla just is joining us, as you remember, we really pushed up the water and sewer budget process, pushed that back a little bit this year to allow a new director to get on. Additionally, with obviously what the ratepayers experience with the monthly billing, the going from monthly and then the rate increase, we do look at line by line the water and sewer budget very closely. One of the line items that we do look at is our involvement in Madison Metropolitan Sewer District. And so I just want to let this commission know, we do a cost benefit analysis on, does it still make sense to have that partnership continue? If they continue to go in the direction that they're going in, we might be forced to make some pretty drastic changes, so we can have some more stability on the rates for our customers, but we aren't to that point yet. I just wanted to bring this to your guys' attention.
Cameron, when you say that, when you're cost-benefit analysis, and you say, I'm sorry. When you talk about cost-benefit analysis and drastic changes, are you talking about flopping to privatization, or are you talking about significant rate increases to keep up with Madison Met?
Specifically, my comment would be severing that relationship and looking at alternative solutions, whether that be construction of a plant or joining a different district to process. But again, that math hasn't worked out quite yet, but again, we just owe it to our ratepayers to make sure that we're evaluating that, because if we continue to see 10 to 15% increases in cost year over year, being in that current relationship, and the voice of our Cottage Grove residents and this commission aren't being taken seriously, we might have to take steps.
I'd be interested in a item in future agenda to at least see what those numbers look like. You know, is that if they continue going 10 to 15% a year, is that a 5-year projection, a 15-year projection, or a 25-year projection? I mean, because we're talking about hundreds of millions of dollars if you're talking about privatization. I'm just curious what that looks like, for a couple reasons.
Yep, you're looking at about anywhere between 80 to 120 million dollars for an actual facility.
Right.
Or you're looking at, should we choose, and I'm just throwing out,
Yep,
should we choose to do Sun Prairie, what does that mean for our existing system, pump stations, reconfiguration, would they allow us to join? So that's in very preliminary stages. I would say that would be a good agenda item, probably in September or October to revisit.
And that's fine, and I'm not looking for something in the weeds, I'm looking for basically what you just described with a little bit more detail, and that's it. Just to understand it a little better as we're getting in that direction, because for many reasons, I'd like to know how that is balancing or continuing to diverge.
Yep, and again, that's why I bring these things up to this commission, that a lot of things do happen on the background, but making you aware. So if you want more information, I can do that.
Okay.
So, and I'm all in favor of more information, but I've been on this committee long enough to know that we looked at building something years ago. I think your number is really conservative.
Yes, I agree.
I think it's more like 500 million. So, but again, information is important, so dig in. But my mouth was open for a while there when they were talking, so. Okay, anything else? Okay, so next meeting date is August 8th, if people are available.
That works.
August 8th?
Yeah, second Wednesday.
That's a Thursday.
Oh, okay. My apologies,
14th.
the 14th. Everybody good?
Yes.
Okay, so August 14th at 5 PM here. Now moving to 11, the closed session. The Village of Cottage Grove Utility Commission will enter into closed session pursuant to Wisconsin State Statutes 19.851E, deliberation and negotiation of the purchase of public properties, the investing of public funds, or conducting other specific public business when competitive or bargaining reasons require a closed session. So I'll make a motion to go into closed session. Can I have a second?
Second.
And then we need a roll call.
Hackle,
Here.
Rogers,
Here.
Russell, Stoa,
Yes.
and Williams.
Okay, we'll wait for JJ to get back.